Good morning, good morning. How are you? A nice crisp February morning. The sun low in the sky. I hope you're well. Are you well? Good, good. It's a Monday morning. So, we've got a full day booked up. I'm working Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday. Not necessarily in that order. And got Thursday off, and then I'm back Friday morning, Friday afternoon off. So, the Friday afternoon is always off. The Thursday off is optional. It depends on how well, how far booked ahead we are. Hello, what's that? Looks like a rabbit. So, what do I want to? Retirement. I'm coming up to my 66th birthday. So I know. I've had an easy life. What can I say? But it's true. Although, those of you who are in your 60s or even in your 50s will realise you don't think that you're ever going to be in that age group, in that age bracket. But time ticks on relentlessly. No respite. So here I am. Fortunately, apart from us, having to take one tablet a day for diabetes, I'm surprised they're bricklaying in this weather. Mind you, he's doing a drive and they're doing a brick drive. I'm still in hale and hearty, and the thing about dentists is you have to have good eyesight and good. You mustn't lose your fine detail with your hands. I think that's the problem. Because people keep asking me, "Oh, am I going to retire? Am I going to retire?" Well, I think probably when someone tells them that you're in your mid-60s, that is a natural question, isn't it? If I met someone who's in their mid-60s, I would probably say, "Are you retired?" Retirement is a bit of a nebulous concept now. It was when I was a boy, it was pretty straightforward. You retired at 65 unless you were in some sort of favoured occupation like the civil service or airline pilot or something, which I guess you could retire at 60 or even 55 if you were really, if you worked in industry and you had a really fat pension, you could retire at 55. And it was like work was something that people did. They worked to live rather than live to work, and they were happy to be out of it. They were like, they got their clock and everything, and it was a bit of a stereotype. You got your clock age 65, and everybody had a little drink and signed you a card, and that was it. That was you put your time in, and that was you off to the balmy pastures of gardening and stuff like that. Nowadays it's very much hello, stripy car. What's he doing there? Hello, stripy car. Fire. He's a fire car. Yeah, that's funny. You couldn't see him setting fire to anything, could you? But no, retirement has completely changed nowadays. I think it was because there's been such an influx of population, and house building has sort of underperformed the population, so that now and divorce and everything meant that people, instead of one house they needed two houses. Their retirement has become much more of a goal and a nebulous goal without a defined age. It's very difficult. It's become increasingly difficult for the younger generation to buy houses, and so they're having to take out mortgages, that don't finish until they're 70, say, for example, or even 75. And in Japan, they've got mortgages that don't finish until until after you're dead. You pass your mortgage on to your children. So you pass your house on and you say, right, still got £50,000 outstanding on the mortgage, but you can have the house if you just take on the mortgage. If not, then obviously sell the house and just pay the balance of the mortgage off, I suppose. But let's just do a little blast on the window. So when people come in, and I'm quite fond of it. I mean, it's only because my hair is still not gone grey. But and I say to people, "How old do you think I am?" Or "Oh, you're the same age as me." Believe it or not, we're the same age. And they're like all got wrinkles and grey hair and everything, and they're all stooped over with a walking frame and that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm the same age as you, give or take a week. So I don't know. I shouldn't do it, really. But it's quite fun. And so a lot of my patients do know pretty much how old I am. So it's quite a natural question, isn't it? When are you going to retire? So people say, well, funnily enough, we had a woman in about a year ago, Italian woman. And you know me, I'm not one to stereotype people, but I've got to say, if you're a Romanian dentist and you treat mainly Romanians, then good luck, because you probably know what they're like. And if you're an Italian dentist and you treat mainly Italians, then good luck, because you know what they're like. We had this Italian woman in. I think she only came in once. I'm sure she only came in once. And she works where I work, in the same building. And she came in and probably had some antibiotics or something. Didn't get anything done. And then we were just doing a routine run through of the courses of treatment, see who's got a course of treatment open that hasn't made arrangements to finish it. And we emailed them and asked them if they'd mind letting us know if they're going to get the work done, or if not, then we'll just close the treatment. And she wrote back and she said that and I've got to give her the prize for the most inventive reason why she didn't come back, was that she said that that we were talking about retirement, or she really, she realised that I was in my 60s and wanted to go and find a dentist who got some sort of reasonable career left, because she felt that having confidence in your dentist and building up a rapport and a relationship with your dentist was so important that she was going to rule out anybody who might retire in the next 10 years or so. So, and I think this is highly hilarious. I don't know why. For a start, I have never said I'm going to retire. I have never even said, to the best of my knowledge, that I'm probably going to have to retire in the next 5 years or something, or even that I'm going to have to retire at some point. And I'll tell you why. Because the guy I took over from was probably 10 years older than me, and it was quite obvious to everyone around him that it was about time that he did retire. And it's a bit of a secret, and certainly younger dentists don't really know this, but as you get closer to retirement, you get to the point where instead of thinking, I've got to make this last 10 years, you think, well, I've got to make this last 5 years. Or eventually I've got to make this last 2 years. And I don't see the advantage in that, to be honest. I mean, I think for the most part of my life, I have over-engineered all my dentistry, all of it. I think, we use, like for example with post crowns, we use Paraposts. They're cylindrical posts. They don't fail. If they're in more than 10 mil, they don't. There's no retention problems with them. We put anti-rotation notches in our postground so they don't fail. We use the best lab in Kent, and I'm not joking, it really is. I've used them since 1982, this lab. So 42 years I've used this lab. It's changed hands, but the quality hasn't gone down. And they know the sort of quality that I need, and they've always delivered the sort of quality. Even if at other times they've, like most labs, have been forced to do work which they take on almost not under protest, because it's not the sort of work that they like, because it's got unclear margins or there's an unclear bite or something. So, hello. No petrol for me today. So, as a result, we get almost no work that fails. And in fact, a lot of the work that other dentists have refused to do because they think that it probably would fail, we will do because we can do it in a way that we know won't fail. So I am not falling prey to this idea of, good enough is good enough sort of thing. I shall still do crowns that last 10 years on my last day at work. And by lasting 10 years, I mean probably last until the tooth falls out, Oh, it's Mr. Fire. He's on his way to set another fire. So, anyway, she's like, and we're like, okay, fine. You don't want to come back, that's fine, that's not fine. But, well, it does make us laugh when some people come up with some bullshit excuses about why they're not coming back. It reminds me of the two patients, the one patient who got upset because I wouldn't come out to see him in an emergency for a long-standing problem that he'd refused to have treated for years and wanted to call me out over the Christmas period for. And I said, no, I'll see him when we reopen. And then his wife, who'd just been to see us and had a very, perfectly good scale of polish and was very happy and everything, wrote this letter saying that she wasn't going to come back and see us because she'd experienced some discomfort after the scale and polish, and and therefore our treatment was substandard, etc., etc. And I'm like, why don't you just write a letter and say that my husband is suggested that we go and see another dentist, and under the circumstances, I probably feel it would be better if we were both at the same dentist. So as a result, please take me off your books. But thanks for all the cheese and all that. But no, she had to invent some stupid complaint. And this is literally 3 weeks after her treatment, and after we received her husband's notification that he was going to change dentists. For one, presumably that would come out on Christmas Eve to sort his problems out of his own making. So she was our previous winner, but I think this Italian woman is probably gonna tie for first. But yeah, so what do you do when people think you're going to retire? I mean, some people will. What happens is, for the most part, people are concerned. They're just concerned because they've just got a nice dentist. They're very happy with their dentist. They don't want to change dentists. They like the dentist that they're at, i.e. you. And dentists get it in the neck so much when they retire. And I think the problem is that, as I said before, if you're the local fire chief, you have a big retirement party and everybody comes and the press is there and the mayor turns up and you have a big banner up saying happy retirement, fire chief, etc. Whereas with a dentist, it's very different. You're selling your practice and you're told under no circumstances are you to notify any of the patients that there's going to be any change of ownership, because it might affect the goodwill. And if it turns out that the patients did find out and they all say, well, if Mr. Watson's retired, I'm going to go, I'll probably take the opportunity to go somewhere a bit closer to home, or to another dentist that my friend's been recommended to me, etc., then you can, that's technically a breach of the terms of the agreement. So what happens is, as a dentist, when you retire, you just literally finish on a Friday lunchtime, lock up, hand the keys, leave the keys on the desk, and go home. And then on Monday, when the patients come in, they say, "Oh, well, where's Mr. Watson?" And this new dentist who's there says, "Oh, Mr. Watson's taking an extended break, but I'll be your dentist now. But don't worry, because I'll be doing exactly what Mr. Watson was going to do." And the patients are like, well, they're in shock from this bait and switch, And many of them are like genuinely in shock. You'll hear stories from people from 10, 20 years ago where they say, "Oh, I used to go and see a dentist, and he was my dentist for a long time, and then I don't know what happened to him. He just disappeared, or he sold the practice or something, and he disappeared, and then it was replaced by these other people I didn't like so much." And they take it as like a personal insult when you retire patients. They they do expect you to go on forever. They expect to die first. They expect you to die last. It's a big problem. But I've got no plans to retire. I think, when people start telling me that I need to retire because I'm putting implants in jaws and forgetting to take the roots out first and stuff like that, then, which is, that's why most dentists, they either retire because they're financially secure and they just don't want to work anymore. In other words, they hated the job. Or if you're like me and like this other guy who loved the job, then what happens is you tend to go on a bit like Muhammad Ali. You tend to go on a bit past the point at which you should retire. Like an old boxer who's constantly coming back because the paydays are so good, but shouldn't really be doing it. But I said to my nurse, why you watch me what I'm doing all the time. I said, am I getting worse at anything? I mean, I can still put a pin in a distal box on a molar if I need to, without going through the periodontium or into the pulp. I can still do extractions, without making it into a complete gore fest. So the minute she says to me, you ought to think about hanging up your drill, then I suppose I'll tell her I will. But for the time being, and then the other thing is, of course, it takes about 2 years, but then I don't expect to sell this place. I don't. If someone wants a turnkey surgery with all the permissions in place, and a track record of being in business for over a decade, then this practice might be something that might be interested in. But really, from the point of view of the accounts, it's not a stellar performer. From the view of the accounts, it's not quite a non-profit, but it is. It's not far off it, and so really, I don't expect to sell this surgery for anything much. Really, it's good. It cost me about 200 grand, and I must say, I feel like I've got value for money back out of that, because I've got that money back. But and it may appeal to someone who just wants a surgery of their own, and thinks that they can improve on everything, which is fine. That's fine. Anybody who buys a surgery always thinks that they can improve on everything, But I've got to say, if you're thinking of buying this, it's run pretty bloody efficiently, I tell you. Yeah, we are innovators. We're at the bleeding edge of technology, so don't buy this place thinking that you're going to double the turnover. All right. And remember what I'm saying, that you don't want to make a big profit. Okay, I'm going to say no more than that. All right. As a dental surgery, you really, I know they say, well, you three, you've got your last 3 years accounts should be really brilliant. So someone's going to buy this place, and this is going to make a mint out of this place. But really, you don't. That's the last thing you want. You're just going to end up paying a ton of tax on something like that. You're better off with a surgery that's operating, and you can't see where the profit's coming from. That's the best sort of surgery to buy. All right, say no more. Okay, have a nice day. Bye.